Hello everyone, my name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to my first War Thunder themed video, and today we are going to talk about the Operation Summer event. Most importantly, I want today to talk about the planes. Why exactly? Because it's just that I personally have the most amount of experience now, or that I tried to come up with a little bit of a guide for myself during the first day, see how it went. I tested the waters a little bit. And for the second time, for the second star, I was like, yeah, that is pretty darn what I'm going to do for the remaining of the operation just for the planes. Obviously, I will try to do this for the tanks as well. I have a faint idea what I should be doing, but I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, let's just jump right in why or what I'm doing for planes and hope that I can give you some ideas. Now, let's quickly go over the tasks. Obviously, you can destroy 40 enemies in arcade battles, 20 in RB or 14 in SB, win 10 battles with an activity higher than 60%, drop at least 10 tons of bombs or tons TNT on enemy bases, destroy 11 enemies in one battle, 4 in RB or 2 in simulator battles, and lastly, help allies 10 times to destroy enemy vehicles. You have to do 3 out of those 5 tasks to get 1 star, and you need in total 5 stars to get the Arado seaplane, and you need 10 stars to get the Tiger, or 11 when you want to get the Blue Angels camouflage for the Tiger as well. Now, those are obviously, as far as I know from what I've heard from a friend, they stayed the same as they were last Operation Suffer event, compared to the tank events where they were a little bit more harder. I personally found out that I will most likely focus on the enemies, the destroy 11 enemies in one battle, and the allies, and if that one didn't work, I will most likely work on the 10 tons of bomb. And how do I do that? In arcade. And you might say, I'm not an experienced person in War Thunder. That is 100% true. I am a mainly World of Tanks player. I do just play occasionally War Thunder with the planes just because I like the planes a lot more than what, for example, World of Warplanes would have to offer. I do have to say though that tanks in War Thunder and tanks in World of Tanks are two completely different game modes and even completely different games, with both games having completely different skill sets you need to excel at to be actually better or good at those games. But yeah, you can see that I don't really play a lot of arcade games. Have 674 missions, while in in realistic battles I have around 1,000 finished missions. And even the flight time, you can see that there is almost a day more in fighters just in realistic battles compared to the arcade battles. But the most important thing is, what I've noticed is that in this Operation Suffer event, that I feel like that arcade has more pros over the cons for just grinding it out. Obviously, it really depends what exactly you're playing. So a friend of mine is a very decent pilot with the Javelin and has the Draken, for example. So when you, for example, have planes at a 10.3 or 9.7 or 8.7 range, which are fairly good, and you are excelling at, again, the Javelin has 4 AA missiles, which can get you a decent chunk of kills. It has 8 in guns, but that's about it. So if you are actually very good with that thing, great, you can do everything in realistic battles and you should be done very, very fast because you only need half the amount of kills. Or if you get lucky, you get even 4 kills and you are already done with 1/3 of the stars requirement. However, for me personally, I don't really have that many high tier planes. I do have a MiG-17 or the F-17AS, and I still feel myself I am lacking in performing in it, especially because just the guns are, in my opinion, incredibly hard to use, and I'm still having to learn them very, very toughly or thoroughly. The same goes, I do have the German Seahawk, and it's a good plane nevertheless, but I just don't feel like me flying around nets me a lot of kills, especially when I am focusing on maybe getting a kill with the rocket, maybe one, and maybe get another one with the Hispanos, as they usually tend to spark quite a bit. So for me personally, I just saw that it's a lot quicker in arcade to rack up kills. For example, I maybe got 2 kills in a realistic battle, I might have already gotten 8 kills in an arcade battle. And it's also obviously easier in arcade than in realistic battles. Why? You have an aim indicator, everybody is spotted, the planes turn faster, and you can survive a little bit longer. One thing I did during the second star is I just kind of spaced out. I listened to something else. You can do that very, very easily. You don't really have to focus that much. Obviously, you need to have spatial awareness to see who is the closest to you, who can you get, etc., etc., etc. And obviously, it is not really that skill-based with the lead indicator, with a lot of people just going head on. And yesterday, while the 7th anniversary F1 Grand Prix in Great Britain was running, I was just doing all plane tasks in around 2 hours. And I have to say, I guess that is in my opinion very, very fast when I compare it to my very good friend, which is playing realistic battles only. Sure, I got lucky, I got the 11 kills, which gives me 1/3 already, but then getting 40 kills is very, very easy, and I was almost as quickly finished with the 30 kills as I was with the assists, because assists are much easier in arcade than they are in realistic battles, because usually in realistic battles, most of your guns, when you're fighting fighter versus fighter, have enough stopping power to rip off a wing or cripple them this hard that they are going down anyway. What are the cons? Obviously, it gets very repetitive. It's just point and click, basically. It is kind of funny point and click when you're just turning around and just splapping people with a shitload of 30 mils. Yeah, you're also not going to focus on victories because you want to get the kills, you want to get the assists. You don't really need the victories because if you're getting lucky, really lucky, you can basically finish off in 5 games, and we already know you need 10 wins minimum, and you're not going to get that. Again, you see 5 games versus 10 victories, let's say you have a 50% win chance, maybe you don't even get all the wins, you need more than 20 games basically, because you don't have always 6% activity, la-di-da. Obviously, you won't get as much research points as in realistic battles, and it is, I have to say, obviously with my personal layout, it's not bad with the line gains. Like, I did got a decent chunk. I had even games where I got like almost 100,000, which I take it in an arcade battle. Like, that's fine. The main big issue, in my opinion, was that the queue time is rather longish because I can get over with repetitive stuff because it is a grind event after all. But the longest queue times, didn't really like that one. It sometimes can go up to 3 minutes, but then again, maybe this is standard for arcade. Now, what again do I primarily focus on? Those are the 3 main tasks I focus on. Destroy 11 enemies in one battle. It nets you also the Hero Battle Medal, which gives you 7,500 lions. Not lions. Well, no, 0 lions. Excuse me, I still have to kind of switch around from World of Tanks. Help your allies 10 times to destroy enemy vehicles. You can get crits and stuff very easily, and most of the time the enemies can still fly. And destroy the 40 enemy peoples is very, very, very easy. Again, I don't really care about the wins. You could go for the drop 10 bombs of TNT on enemy bases. I saw a Voltor, or the Jewish Voltor, the Jew-Tor, doing that, and all had in one game 12.2 tons of TNT dropped on enemy bases when you get lucky, obviously. However, you would have to have this premium claim, the Tutor, to do that, and you have to get lucky with the matchup and the bases, and if there are, for example, a starfighter in the enemy team, you're basically boned because it goes Mach 2 and just hunts you down like the pig you are. Now, what planes did I use? This is my personal layout. It's a 5.3 layout for arcade battles. I have the Heinkel 219 A7 youuuu because it has an insane burst mass. I think it's almost around 11 kilograms per second. It is not a very fast turning plane or anything. But what I saw in experience is that mainly a lot of people just want to head on to just get quickly kills. Like, it's the noob meta, you know? So this thing is insane with its 11 kilograms of burst mass, and it can dispatch of bombers super quickly as well, leading to longer games when there are base defense games. So it's a very, very decent play in my opinion, but it is a premium we're going to get in just a second. I also did notice that when people are, for example, trying to head you on, maybe start shooting at around 1.6 kilometers, aim above them, just spray down till around 1.2 and then just turn away. Obviously, they want to do the same thing, just keep that in mind. But usually with those planes, you barely have an issue. The Messerschmitt 410 B6R3 is known to be a huge menace with its 30 mils and its 20 mils. It also has a great burst mass and it can wreck faces. Again, both planes have an insane amount of burst mass, they have an insane amount of 30 mils. And this is good enough for you to just get easy kills. You don't really get crits or anything, you just obliterate the enemy out of existence. The Focke-Wulf 180 A5 is an amazing plane. Why exactly? It has a shite ton of, of the very, very decent 20 mils. Again, it is not the other guy, which we usually know, the U12, which has an additional gun pods of 20 mils, but the A5 is already, look at that, you already have base 20 mils. That is very, very decent. You have 5.17 kilograms of explosive mass. Again, here you have 8, and here we have 15, excuse me, I was actually wrong, 15 kilograms of burst mass, which is more than enough. And the best thing is, in my opinion, it can, for example, use stealth belts. Here you have to use air targets because those stealths are garbage, it's API. And here you have another stealth and they have Minengeschosse. The same thing goes for here, you have to use the air target belts, otherwise you have AP rounds. And here you go again for stealth, which are very decent with the Minengeschosse. And here you can go full on stealth, it doesn't matter. The air target belt may be a little bit better, but I think it is much more fun to just, surprise some people with them not seeing us. However, I might choose to have the air target belt because there's only one tracer around. Who knows? Then the next one is actually a little bit of a lower plane. It's the TA-154A1 interceptor plane. It also has a pretty decent burst mass of 10 kilograms per second, has a 20 mils, it has 30 mils, and they all can do a little bit of damage, which is more than enough, and it actually turns a lot faster than the youuuu right here. So yeah, and lastly, I am always taking the Bf-109G2 troop because it's just a very good plane. It also has gun pods, it has took enough MG151 cannons to just burst down anybody in head-ons, and it's a pretty decent turn fighter. Obviously don't turn fight in Spitfires, etc. Now, what are alternative planes? You can see I have two premium planes, you might say, but Raging, I want to have fun without playing or buying anything. First things first, you can get the Bf-109 G6, which is also a very, very decent loadout. You can also, for example, use it pretty decently. Why exactly? Well, you can also use modifications where you can get either 20 mils or even 30 mils. However, I do think the 20 mils may or may not be a little bit more effective than the 30 mils. So you can go for that, and it's again a 5.3 plane. I may or may not actually try this out instead of the TA-154, but it is a premium plane, so I make a little bit more cash and experience. Another plane you could in theory use, it's instead of the Heinkel youuuu, for example, you can go for one of the Focke-Wulfs 180 over here. I personally pulled out the F8. Why exactly? Because it once again has a gun pod attached to it. It has 20 mils, it has 30 mils, and the 13 millimeters MG131 things. So now, let's conclude this right now, right here. That is why I think arcade is a lot better or easier. You are very quickly, sure it is repetitive and stuff, but it's much quicker to finish off those tasks, especially when you want to focus on tank tasks as well as, who knows, maybe the ship tasks as well. I personally also am doing the tank task because I do want to get the Leopard Mexas. It looks very, very cool, and well, it would line up very good with a nice high-tier German setup, in my opinion. And yeah, in general, if you like this video, let me know in the comment section below. If you're coming from World of Tanks and they are confused, I'm sorry for that one, but maybe I will be doing more stuff. And when you are coming from War Thunder, let me know if you enjoy the style of videos I'm doing and if it was actually helpful. Obviously, I'll be doing something like this also for the tank tasks. I already have a faint idea, and to be honest, it is basically Germany. 5.3 Germany. I recently got a Tiger. First game I had it, I got the 6 kills in realistic battles. Yeah, Tigers are fair and balanced, and Germany is totally suffering. If you have any feedback and help me get better with my personal stuff, let me know in the comment section below. I'm always happy to get some feedback, and I always want to know if you have any idea. And if you manage to get at the end of the video and you are coming from the War Thunder community, don't forget to subscribe. I will try to do more videos about War Thunder, more preview stuff, and maybe more guides as well. It is still a learning experience for me, especially tank battles, tank realistic battles. So maybe some things I learn I will say also in a video. My name is RagingRaptor. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers and good luck on the War Thunder battlefield.